Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. And for the sake of this video, since we are currently in the month of October, which of course is one of my favorite months of the year because it's the end of the baseball season with baseball playoffs, and of course one of my favorite non-Jewish holidays, Halloween. So of course I always like to drag out my favorite horror movies for this time of the year. And I'm going to be discussing one of them. Fortunately, it's not my favorite horror film, but since it's recently a remake came out, or a sequel came out, so I'm going to do that for you. And that is the 1999 film, The Blair Witch Project. I'm discussing the original one, and there were two crappy sequels that came out after that. The original Blair Witch Project is one of the first. It wasn't the first. These found footage movies. Now the first one, really was the first one, was a TV special, not a movie. Was condensed to an hour, which was of course any encounter or any abduction incident in Lake County, which I previously reviewed. And previously reviewed the special. But a year later, the Blair Witch Project came out. So it was at the height of that found footage stuff, since the alien abduction thing, like I said, was pretty successful special because they aired twice. So the producers of the Blair Witch Project capitalized on that and made this found footage thing. And this film was on an extremely low budget, and it was maybe for about approximately $50,000, if that. And it made millions of dollars in the box office. So it was like the biggest profit for a movie in movie history. It made the biggest profit, more than any other movie beforehand. I think probably afterwards as well, because it made a boatload of money, because there was a lot of hype to it. Because it was really the first movie. It was also the first movie that took advantage of the internet. What I'm doing this video on, because of the simple fact is I made a website. It was 1999, so it was literally in the early days of the internet. There was no Facebook, there was no YouTube. Just by word of mouth, people were obsessed with this movie because they actually had in big detail the myth of the Blair Witch. And they changed the name from Burkittsville to Blair, from Blair, Maryland to Burkittsville, because of the so-called Blair Witch, or the curse of the Blair Witch. So there's a lot of and detailed quite graphically in the website, like from the 1700s to 1999, the various crazy incidents involving this mythical Blair Witch. Well, getting back to the actual movie, well, because of this so-called myth, 3 filmmakers, and believe it or not, this is also real for a movie. The 3 actors that you see in this movie, they actually use their real names. So when people thought they were killed by the Blair Witch, people thought they were actually dead. Which of course all 3 are alive and well, and they did interviews before the movie came out, and of course afterwards, to show people, especially after all the hoopla of the Blair Witch Project, that we are actually alive and well, we are not dead. And they actually had to go on various interview shows to prove the fact that they were not dead, which is also kind of bizarre and kind of crazy that they had to do that, because people actually thought, and like I said earlier, this was the early days of the internet, and people went onto chat rooms and thought that these people were actually dead. Like I said, it was chat rooms, not Facebook. Nowadays we have Facebook pages devoted to the Blair Witch Project and saying, oh, these 3 people are dead, I can't believe they're dead, I mean, they're so young, they're so this and this, and to hype more the Blair Witch Project. But at that time I said, hey, they weren't dead. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, even I bought into it. Because I was into this, boy, this thing is really interesting. I checked out the website myself, and it was, boy, they really put a lot of thought and imagination into this thing. Even though I knew it was a fictional story, I knew it was made up, but when the video came, or the DVD came out, I rented it out, so, oh, but it was boring as hell, anything. Now, the plot of the Blair Witch, I know it went on for a while before I discuss the actual film, but the Blair Witch Project is about these three filmmakers who go into the Maryland woods to check out the possibility of this Blair Witch, and they interview people from the town of Burkittsville, which is an actual town. That part was not made up, and they wanted to check out this curse, and they interview people. And of course, they go into the woods, and for some reason, they end up getting lost. And it's like Murphy's Law. Anything they can't go wrong did. They lost the map. One of them actually took the map and threw it away. Because no matter which direction they went into, they got lost. And during the night, when they were stopped to camp for the night, because it was getting too dark, they hear all these strange sounds. In the tent, there was like somebody was attacking the tent. It was like shaky, like I'm doing here. People, they're shaking the tent like this, right? Like it just did with the computer there. And that's all you ever saw. You saw maybe somebody. You didn't really actually see the person, but actually, the tent was being shaking. Or people were attacking the tent from the outside, or hitting it, or trying to get it from the outside, and the three filmmakers was inside the tent. They all ran out trying to look for whoever was doing it, and they thought there was maybe an animal, a bear or something. No animals, nothing. Just sort of like three small stones piled up on each other. That was it. And every time when they go somewhere, different direction, trying to find where the car. They couldn't find where the car was. They traveled like 2 days in one direction, couldn't find anything. Then they go another day in another direction, couldn't find where they're going, and they go back another direction. I mean, they're all walking in circles. And then at one point, they get to a certain area where they see these crazy stick figures, which became an iconic figure for the movie. Just a head and of course, the 2 arms and 2 legs made out of sticks. Literally a stick figure. And said, "Holy cow, this is really crazy shit," and all this type of thing. Then all of a sudden, one of the 2 guys, there was like 2 guys and 1 woman. One of the 2 guys was missing, and then all of a sudden they had to look for this third guy, and they for like a day or a day and a half, they were looking for the third guy because obviously was missing. And then of course they believed that maybe he was spirited away by the Blair Witch. So of course the big climax was they found this abandoned house. It was like real. It was literally falling apart, this house, and it looks like that in the corner was the figure, and then the other guy, or the second guy, gets whacked. And all you see is we didn't really see anybody. You just heard a thud, and the person goes down, and the camera goes down, and that's all you saw. And of course, Heather, the girl, comes running down the steps, and as soon as he gets to the bottom of the staircase, she gets whacked, and of course the camera falls to the ground, of course, and that's how pretty much the movie ends. And one of course the big complaints about the movie is, of course, you never actually saw the Blair Witch. I'm sure the movie the original Blair Witch movie was made today instead of 1999. You probably of course, if they actually had an actual budget for the Blair Witch Project, you probably would have somebody playing the Blair Witch and attacking them. It was just really implied. It was an implied horror, like the Paranormal Activity movies, which unfortunately you never saw, but it's like kind of like the same premise. Instead of being a witch, or a fictional witch, it was ghosts in Paranormal Activity. Uh, this was really a fictional witch that was going on here. And of course, this movie became such a huge deal, not only in the movies, but everything. Well, I'm going to get the controversy in the movies before I go forward. Of course, one of the big things is, of course, one of the kind of things was a man that had the camera turned around, and her face was like kind of like this close. Sorry, I got that close. And with her head up, and you can see the snot coming out of her nose, and it was really disgusting. And she goes, "Oh, I'm so scared. I am so scared right now." That was one thing, and of course the other thing that a lot of people were talking about was because the old handheld cameras, they go camcorders really. I mean, there was one camcorder, I think one professional style camera that actually was over one of the two guys' shoulders. So there's only two cameras actually were used, maybe three cameras tops. And of course, they were holding it. If they were running through the woods, people were actually getting seasick. Not really seasick, but motion sickness because of them running through the woods and the speed they were using as they were running through the woods. They were getting sick on because of they were getting motion sickness. Motion sick because of the action. They go like that. They were running through the woods, and because of that, people were getting people. There were actually reports of people actually throwing up. So that was part of the controversy of the original movie. Of course, like I said earlier, this movie made a boatload of money. The biggest profit of any movie in movie history. So of course they quickly produced a sequel called Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows. Now I saw bits and pieces of this movie and the whole thing was so bad and it was so off kilter for what the original movie was. It was unbelievable. What happened was because of these big deal with the movie, people wanted to take tours of the area with the woods where these three people went missing. And of course, there were some people who believed that the thing was that the movie was fake and they weren't really kidnapped, they weren't really killed, but there was no such thing as a Blair Witch, and the whole thing was fake. So they made a whole second movie, and of course, the people who went on this tour, supposedly all went nuts because of the effects of the Blair Witch. But that movie was so bad, and was so quickly made and quickly produced, and it was so god awful bad that after that, for many years, the whole premise of the Blair Witch was pretty much dropped. Until, of course, this year, 2016, there was a brand new sequel for the Blair Witch, and that's what it was called. It was just called the Blair Witch or the Blair Witch. And this time, they made a completely fictional story, but it's almost like a retread of what I've heard and read from other critics. It was just a retread of the original movie. But they did have one little tie-in. There was one main character who was supposed to be the brother of the Heather cat, the girl in the original movie. So after all these years, after 17 years, or actually after 22 years, because the movie was supposed to. The Blair Witch Project was supposed to be filmed in 1994. Even though it was released in 1999, but instead in 1994. In the opening of the film, of the original Blair Witch Project. So after 22 years, the man Heather's brother decides to go out and look for her in the woods, and of course, the same crap that happened to us in the original Blair Witch movie happened in this one, but only with a bigger budget. And that movie didn't last too long in the movie theaters, unfortunately, because it sucked. From what I understand, it was tough. It's like a retread of the original movie. And I don't know why after all these years, after 16 years after the second Blair Witch movie, they decided to make a one now. I mean, it's like what happened with the Crocodile Dundee movies. They made a sequel like 2 years later, 1988, and then about like almost 19 years later, then they come out with a second movie. or like 12, or like 13 or 14 years later to come up with a second movie. I felt like the same way with this. Why after all these years did they make a second Blair Witch film? Or should I say a third Blair Witch movie? It's like a waste. It's like a complete waste unless if it's a complete entire reboot. Which I think they're trying to do with this one. But it's like almost like a cop. But I understand it's like an exact copy of the original movie. So that's my review of the Blair Witch Project. So please click on the video, please read it. Feel free to comment. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. And you can check out all of my videos, not only on my YouTube channel, but also at rowdyc.com. It's all WDY, C.com. There's a homepage of the Rowdy Reviewer, Christy Moore. Please check out all of his content. I noticed his TV trash videos, which he does a great job on, but also all the other contributors to his website, and I happen to be one of them. So thanks for watching, and catch you next time.